Hi everyone, this is Killshot99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 10 Negan exit debate. Yes, we're going to talk about it again because other people are talking about it again. And we were on top of this. We were CSI all over this the end of last season, early in this season, and now all of a sudden it's, and I'm not giving you George Drake confirmed. They're using quotes to confirm this by other places. I think Movie Idol's been talking about it. Daily Express, which that's probably not the best reference to use. But there are other people talking about it. But we're going to go back to some of our streams that we've debated this for some time. And we're going to talk about why it probably is going to be true fairly soon. But we're going to go back to our references. Before we get too far into this, how about I give a super special shout out to a lot of people. First of all, I want to give a special shout out to all the Patreon Army. You can see them up there on the screen. We are modifying, adding a few. Unfortunately, we did lose a couple, but that is the Patreon Army. And that is our updated PDL sponsor list up in the top right-hand corner. So thanks to that entire group. And also, two more announcements. I want to give a special thank you to all the Green Team. That is our channel members. You guys are interested in joining as a channel member, there is a join button down below. And I do want to announce our newest super fans. So I'm going to have two brand new super fans that we're going to roll out. And I wanted to recognize the two longest Green Team members that have been the members of the channel. And that is Valar, over 2 years. And the person that has been on the Green Team as a member the longest is Jason, the mixologist, daily. So I want to thank him as well. So you guys having a good week? If you guys can hear me loud and clear, give me a quick 999 in chat. Make sure that we are coming through loud and clear, and we've got everybody rocking and ready to go. So we should have some nice surprises for everybody. Just want to make sure we got everybody in real time. I see Deidre Perkins. Good to see you. I missed you, all of you guys too. It's good to see everybody. It's good to have our team back as we get closer and closer to. I mean, look, we got to get Walking Dead back in our life pretty soon. So I certainly think that's going to happen sooner rather than later. I see E Beach. What's up, Eric? Thank you so much. Good evening, Army. I think this is a crushing event. Here's my favorite. He is. He's a lot of people's favorite. So, Eric, I do want to go back to some of our chats from January and February. And look, I don't want to brag because I'm not bragging about myself. I'm bragging about all of you because when we come up with a theory or a prediction, you guys know more often than not, it's true. I mean, we've been wrong on a couple, but you guys are pretty incredible. Let's just be honest. Because we got so many different Walking Dead fans that when we kind of rally around an idea or we rally around a thought, then, the writers, there's only so many different directions that the writers can go. So, as much as we like Negan, it certainly feels like, let me use a point of reference. This is probably going to be a bad reference, but doesn't it feel like Negan's kind of got that Tara vibe to it right now? I hate using that because I know a lot of people are going to say, no. But it does. It feels like he's just he's a man without a home. He's a man without a story. He's a man without, what can he do next? I'm going to tell you what he can do next because I think there's one shot of redemption left, and I think it is the perfect story, and I think it is the perfect ending for Negan. So this is the way I think it's going to go down, and then we're going. Hippo says Negan for Hilltop president. So the reality is that good actors just can't they can't always stay in the same role, right? once you've kind of done what you do for a couple seasons, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan has a lot of opportunities, it's a great gig. He said it was a great gig. But it might also limit some of the other things or some of the other opportunities. But there is one story that makes a lot of sense for him. And it does work well with Maggie coming back. And that is if Maggie lets the group know that Rick is out there, or we hear Michonne letting the group know that Rick is out there. Negan's last shot of redemption could be his quest to find Rick Grimes. Would you agree that would help strengthen his bond? Well, I mean, his bond with Judas is already good. But the one thing that just echoes and sticks in my head is how Aaron point blank told him, you only care about yourself. And I think to a degree, Negan had a moment of weakness with Alpha. We thought he was redeemed. Come to find out, he wasn't quite redeemed. Fluff, I can't divvy up people's significant others. I appreciate you being first in line for that, but I'll let that super chat stand for itself. But appreciate that. Appreciate you being here as well, Fluff. So I think that was, well, I know. Because one of the storylines that we discussed at length last year was that Negan can neither be a sinner nor a saint. That all season long, he's going to straddle that line. Now, do you guys feel we were accurate with that assessment? We were the first to come out bold and say that, where other sites were saying, no, Negan's 100% redeemed. And other people were saying, no, we don't trust Negan. Well, we discussed all last year the fact that Negan is going to be questionable. Some will see him as good, some will see him as bad, but most are going to see him as he could be swayed in either direction. And I think Aaron saw that, and Alpha demanded that, where you think that he's just out to help Carol, which is what we found out, but we found out that he probably could have still betrayed Carol. But he didn't. He betrayed Alpha. But he was close to trying to save her. I mean, in multiple opportunities, he told Alpha, spare them. Now, what would have happened if Alpha would have agreed to spare the people at Hilltop? Let me get your thoughts and comments on that. So, Negan could have killed Alpha multiple times. He didn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all, Kel. That is probably, that's not even the right argument. Him showing Alpha could not be redeemable makes him 100% redeemed. I disagree wholeheartedly, and I'll tell you why. Because I need you guys to answer the question that I just asked. He was sent on a mission by Carol. And Carol even said, what took you so long? So if he wasn't willing to partner with Alpha to save those people, he would never have offered. So let's just go back to how this scenario would have played out. If Alpha says, yes, I will accept their surrender, then the rift with Carol would have been, well, there's no way that rift would have ever been mended. So with Negan, this to me shows he's not 100% redeemed, that he still makes questionable decisions. Now, when Alpha said no, and then when Alpha was going to kill Lydia, well, yes, by deductive reasoning that he had no one else to help, he had to go with what his initial mission was. But my concern is, if Alpha would have said, hey, buddy, I like you, and I'm going to spare all these people, at that point, you think Daryl's going to want to be spared? You think Eugene's going to want to be spared? You think Carol is going to want to be spared? No. They're going to fight to the death. So Negan even throwing that out there as an option shows, honestly, how perfectly clueless he was toward Carol, and it shows he was still trying to figure things out right till the very end. If not, he would have never even went through the opportunity to give Alpha a chance to save them, or give Alpha a chance to spare Lydia. And my concern is, this isn't about, it's not about team A or B. It's about the story, and it's about the purity of the story. And if you get to the purity of the story, then I would ask you to remove yourself as a fan and put yourself into the role of the characters. And when you do those things, it's easier to understand how it's playing out in real time. It's not as simple as you're a good person, you're a bad person. Anthony, Negan had to pick his moment to kill Alpha, otherwise Beta would have killed Negan. You have to bide your time, be Sith-like. Well, Anthony, as much as I appreciate that comment, I disagree. Because he, in order to get to Alpha, yes, he had to find the right opportunity. But his relationship with Alpha, now come on, did you guys watch the same episode that I did? How many people here saw Negan cut Alpha's throat? How many people saw that? And if you did not see, and I agree, see, Bones is hitting the nail on the head here. He was wavering. So if you saw Negan cut Alpha's throat, did Negan cut Alpha's throat the same way that Carol would have cut Alpha's throat? That's my question for you guys. Was it brutal? Was it vengeful? Was it spiteful? Was it, for all those people that you killed in Alexandria and Hilltop, this is for you, Alpha? Was it all of that? Did he really have Hilltop and Alexandrian Kingdom's best interest in mind? Did Negan really give a damn that Alpha killed Henry? I mean, did he not stab her and it's like, this is for Henry? No. He held her and he felt remorse when he killed her. That's not redemption. Do you think Daryl forgives Negan? Do you think Daryl thinks that Negan is fully on board? Do you think Carol does? So no, just because he performed the act, he gave her the opportunity to spare Lydia. If Alpha spares Lydia, Negan doesn't kill Alpha. He already had Lydia in a safe place. He didn't have to go through the whole thing. He could have killed her at any time walking along there. He needed to know that she was not going to spare Lydia, that she was gone. Now, I don't think Negan should be the moral authority on who deserves to live and who deserves to die. In fact, he should probably be the last person that makes that decision of who lives and who dies. Now, in fairness, I don't think Carol deserves to make that decision either, because Carol was so blinded by hate and revenge. But I would say Carol probably had a little bit more say in the matter, and it was a little bit more personal to Carol than it was to Negan. So, Dimes, I think use of the word redemption, it's a little overplayed. If he wasn't redeemed, he wouldn't have killed her at all. It wasn't his. I don't agree with that either. Redemption is one of those words that's just kind of tossed around. And I don't know if anybody on The Walking Dead is redeemed. But no. Redemption had nothing to do with his kill for Alpha. It was about, that was his only play at that point. Where is he going to go? Negan was going to be King Alpha. His goal when he went there. All right, first of all, there's something really, really big when we use the word redemption that you guys are missing. Why did Negan agree to kill Alpha in the first place? What did he get in return for agreeing to kill Alpha? And clearly, I'm not the only person that saw this happening. He got let out of jail. Do you guys realize he was likely being hung the next day? He was in jail. I mean, how can you see this as redemption? He's locked up in the jail. Carol walks up. Hey, we're going to kill you tomorrow. But, but if you go kill Alpha for me, I'll let you out. Redeemed? No, it's not about being redeemed. It's about he got out of jail and saved his life by making a deal with Carol. And then after he made the deal with Carol, he started to like it a little bit. Now, the people that are screaming redemption are forgetting about the fact that he was due to die the next day. I don't think the word clearly. See, Dimes, here's the thing. He so clearly wanted to be forgiven. I would agree with you if you said he wanted to be, but clearly no. The Negan character is not about clearly. There are parts of Negan that want to be the leader. There's parts of Negan that wants to kill people. There's parts of Negan that do want to be forgiven. But to say he clearly wants redemption and wants acceptance, that's not the Negan that I saw the last 4 years. I see a very complicated, complex Negan, and one that even at times was still trying to figure out what he wanted. Do I fit in Alexandria? Are they going to put me back in jail in Alexandria? Could I join this group? Could we go a different way and leave this group? See, Negan isn't about one direction. He's about a plan and a backup plan and a tertiary plan. He's about 4 or 5 different plans. which is why the writers intentionally showed us all those crossroads he was at. They showed us his internal struggles. Now, if you had your eyes closed and you didn't watch it, then the writers lost it on us. But it was clearly, I'll use your word, it was clearly there. It was clearly there. When every time he and Alpha had a conversation, can both of these groups coexist? He was sent to kill. He was trying to bridge the gap. And it wasn't happening. But multiple times, we got that dialogue. And that dialogue was not wasted on me. So I'm going to ask the group again, because I can't focus in on two people that are just trolling. I'm going to ask the rest of the group, what would have happened if Alpha would have said to Negan, yes, I will let your friends live in that small area? What would have happened between Negan and Carol? What would have happened between Negan and Daryl? If Alpha just changes one line there, because what did Alpha say? Negan said, let them live, and she said, well, they can live as my guardians. I mean, she wanted them to live as the guardians. She was going to kill all of them. But he offered. He offered the chance. Now, is it possible, because I've heard some of the defense with that, who did Daryl think cut the tree down to keep people from leaving the hilltop? Negan. So, did people die at the hilltop? People did die at the hilltop, right? I mean, that was a whole bunch of dead bodies. Because, see, here's the thing to understand the moral dilemma of Negan. We have to play a game of what if. Not what happened. We have to play what if. Was Judith at Hilltop? The answer is yes. What if, I don't know, a stray bullet, because a lot of people died at Hilltop. So what if a stray bullet hits Judith and Judith dies? What if a tree falls on Daryl and Daryl dies? Now we know they're the star of the show, but in order to understand the psychology of the writers, what if bigger people would have died? And Negan, okay, did Negan have to cut that tree down? Let's look at it like this. I'm just walking along. We're going to Hilltop. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we cut this tree down and make it where they can't leave? Did anybody make him do that? Now, I know the Negan defenders are, how do you know it was him? Could have been somebody else. I'm going off what Daryl said. I trust Daryl. I trust Daryl Dixon. And when Daryl saw it, hey, I know who cut down that damn tree. That son bitch. Was Daryl knows it was Negan. So Negan in that situation to me reminds me of, that little kid in the front of the class that always wants to raise his hand like, pick me, pick me, pick me. I got an idea. So Negan's trying to curry favor to show he knows how to trap him. He's going to box him in Hilltop. Now, certainly he did some things to prevent attacks, or maybe not make it as bad. But the fact of the matter is, the tree was cut down. They could not leave, and people died. That's a fact. So, tree was cut down. It was one of Negan's tactics. Daryl thought it was Negan. People were trapped at Hilltop. People died. That's a problem. Now, I'm going to go back to what Anthony said a little bit ago. He was biding his time. Well, that doesn't sound like somebody that was just biding time. That sounds like somebody that was enjoying it a little bit. Enjoying a little bit of the payback. I mean, he was in jail for a long time. I'm pretty sure he doesn't love everybody at Hilltop. Well, Dimes, you still haven't answered my question. You've typed a lot of other answers, but you haven't answered the core question. He's trying to earn his keep, trust, some of those things. I get it. At the same time, trying to sway Alpha to spare them. But the question was, what would have happened if she would have agreed to spare them? Because I don't think Negan would have been welcomed back to Alexandria with open arms. Now, somebody who's redeemed, or somebody that has Alexandria's best intentions, gets a mission, goes there to do the mission, comes back, look what I did, boom, high five, Carol, give it up, oh yeah, we got it. That's not what he did. What he did was play the middle of the road to try to understand Alpha. Now, if she agrees, Daryl, Carol, the whole group that you guys are saying he's redeemed with, that's not redemption. They would have exiled him and they would have killed him. The only thing that kept him alive and kept him at the forefront and even having this conversation about redemption is that Alpha played true to her character. Alpha said no. She said they're going to be my guardians. And then he still went forward and hung out. And, he wasn't running away from Alpha trying to save Judith and Hilltop. He stayed longer. When my argument is, didn't have to cut down a tree in the first place. Let them escape. You don't have to box them in, kill a few of them just to convince. Just don't box them in the first place. Let them scatter. Then when you get the opportunity, you kill her. He had multiple opportunities before that moment to kill Alpha. I seem to remember he had some alone time with her. In fact, I think he was behind her at least once alone. And that might have been an opportunity, but he didn't. He waited because he loves power and he thought he could make it work both ways. But that's not all. I don't feel like Carol and Negan are in a good place. Now, let's go to the character role. Is Negan redeemed with Aaron, Daryl, or Carol? Three of the biggest characters on the show right now. Do they view him as part of the team? Did he earn his stripes? Now, he's always had a good rapport with Judith. See, I like what Marianne said, not yet. And that's really the gist of the conversation. And, I could have titled this video, Unfinished Business. Because by most regards, the diehard Negan fans that have been chatting for the last 30 minutes should be correct. They should be, but the problem is he's not. He's not redeemed because he's not considered the equal of Carol, Aaron, and Daryl. So whether we forgive him or not is less relevant than whether his character is allowed to be 100% unequivocally a part of the group, forgiven, involved, engaged, all of the above. So Anthony says he is with Carol, but barely. Anthony, elaborate on that a little bit. Because according to Carol, didn't she basically say, thank you for killing Alpha, but you can hit the road? I mean, didn't she just recommend that he leave? So when I think of redemption, I don't think of Dwight. I mean, Daryl exiled Dwight. When I think of redemption, I think of Alden. I think of DJ. Right? I mean, DJ was redeemed. Can we all agree that DJ and Alden, and Alden probably, he's wearing out his welcome again. But to me, that's acceptance. That's forgiveness. So, my question would be, why was it so easy to forgive Arat, Alden, DJ, Scott, Why is it so easy to forgive them, but it's not easy for the group to accept Negan? And it's a pretty easy answer, but it's complicated to a degree. But Mist, you're right. Because they became team players. And they didn't resist, and they didn't validate, and they didn't justify. And I think Nixie said it a little bit earlier. Negan wants power. So even though Amy says Negan doesn't think he was completely wrong, I'm sorry, but I think it's a little bit, I think it's a lazy excuse to say because he was the leader. I think it's more complicated than that. I think that's a catch-all. They were followers, he's the leader. I don't think so. I think it was because he was not balled in. He was looking for opportunity. He was still looking for opportunity with Alpha. He even said it. He even said it several times over the last couple of years of how sometimes he had regrets, but he liked the feeling. He wanted it back. So he can't fully graduate from it. But we're close. And this is and the more we debate the path of Negan, and even the last couple episodes, what he did and how he did it, I think gets us closer and closer to where we can have an honest and open debate on his exit. Not about whether we want him to leave. And leaving a show, for me, is never about my regard for that character or my regard for that actor. It's not about whether I want him there or I don't want him there. It's about how the story is moving and what makes the most sense. And I'm going to ask this question one more time as a platform. And I'll get to Anthony's super chat there in a second, because I do want to focus on that. This is what's important. And I've asked this earlier and I got some partial answers. How many of you 100% think that Negan is redeemed in the eyes of the characters? Leave your answer to that question. Anthony says she didn't care if he left or stayed. If he stayed, she would most likely have told the truth about him killing Alpha. Negan needed to be broken down by being in jail. Remember how he begged Maggie to kill him. All good points. All good points. And I'm going to get back to that. So hold that thought, Emperor. Because I'm going to tie that super chat in to the answer. All right, so I've got nope. Bonnie says no. Julia says no. Busy Bee, not completely. I agree, Caleb. Ron says not at all. Lisa E says no. All right. See, this is where it becomes very important. So why Jim Stone says redeemed by a few but not everyone. So Jim Stone, Anthony, those of you saying no he isn't, why? That's not hard to do. Look, it's a harder sell to get the fans to redeem him than the characters. But here we're flip-flopping. Why have the writers left him unredeemed to the characters? Look, all they got to do, they didn't have to make Carol say leave. Carol could have said, hey, good job, man. Appreciate you doing that. You want to come over later? I'm going to make some cookies. That's easy to do. Why have the writers chosen to avoid that storyline? And I'm seeing more fans saying he's redeemed than the actors. And the actors dictate the story, not the fans. If we watch the actors, then we'll be able to tell what is likely to happen next, rather than our own emotions of whether we like that person or don't like that person. If I were writing episode 12 or 13, and I wanted all of you to like Negan, and I wanted Carol to like Negan, it's easy for me to do. I don't have to put Negan beside Alpha and say, hey, why don't you spare them? I don't have to have him walk up and wait for Lydia. I don't have to have Carol say to him, took you long enough, now you can just leave. I can avoid all of that. They didn't have to put those hidden clues in there for us. So the fact that they spoon-fed that to us shows us that they don't want him to be redeemed. And because they don't want him to be redeemed, I can't redeem him because I have to play off the character's emotions, not the fans' emotions. Because if I ask Kel, for example, how long is Negan going to be on the show? She's going to tell me 10 years because I love him and he's the greatest thing in the world. But we know that's not true. And the reason we know that's not true is because he still has a rift with Maggie. He still has a rift with Daryl. He still has a rift with Aaron. And he still has a rift with Carol. Now, the Judith story is a powerful story as well. Because, just like I said that they did not have to show him non-redeemed with some characters, they didn't have to build up his attachment to Judith either. That clearly was intentional. Which brings me back to the point, the Negan character is meant to straddle the line. You see him with Judith, and you just melt. And you see him with Carol, and there's animosity. It's not as simple as redeemed, non-redeemed. Because he's a psychopath. And he likes power. And he's trying to change. I will give him the benefit of the doubt and say, the intent is there sometimes, but he just can't control himself. He wants to control himself, but he can't. Now, based on my last comment there, how many people would agree with that he wants to change, but he may not be capable of changing? I mean, that's a more funneled down assessment of it. He wants to do the right thing now, but he can't always do the right thing. Now, if I can get most buy-in from that, then I'm going to give you another example. Because I love to give examples. So most of the time he leans toward doing the right thing, but sometimes just something takes over and he can't quite do it. So my question to you, if you were a character on The Walking Dead, or maybe in a real life experience, how comfortable are you being best friends with a convicted murderer and being alone with a convicted murderer? How much trust would each of you have in a situation of being with a convicted killer, knowing that they might try to change, but you just don't know when something's going to snap? And why don't you know? Because he never was a team player. DJ was. DJ felt remorse. So, I don't know how comfortable that I would be. So, Anthony wants to go Kylo Ren on me. Now, see, here's the problem, Anthony. I don't like that Kylo Ren killed Harrison Ford. So, are you trying to suggest that Kylo Ren was redeemed because of the last 30 minutes of the movie? Or do we have to look at Kylo Ren and the totality of what he did? And don't get me wrong, Anthony. I love Kylo Ren. But I like Kylo Ren for his flaws. I did not need him to be redeemed. I liked whether he was a villain, and I liked his story. But it wasn't about whether or not I thought he was just or unjust. I just thought he had a really cool mask. There you go. And I think there's a lot of that with Negan. We like his catchy lines. We like the bat. We like the fact that he can grow. The characters don't like it. So, but I do want to touch on a previous super chat that you had said too, where she didn't care if he left or stayed. I agree with that. Carol doesn't care. Carol doesn't like Negan any more than she liked Alpha. But see, here's what I always thought was a little bit, I think, hypocritical. I'm going to use the word hypocritical because it's the ultimate setup. How many people here feel that Alpha could have been redeemed? That Negan could have spared her, and her and Beta could have babysit Judith and RJ. Could have attended some Halloween parties. They have really cool masks. Wait, hold on. How are you going to type no way in all caps? Why can't Alpha be redeemed? Why can Negan be redeemed and Alpha can't be redeemed? What's the difference here? Because Negan's more cool and has a leather jacket? Who's to say you couldn't have put Alpha in jail for 7 years, and in 7 years her and RJ became best friends? Why could Carol not put Alpha in jail, and RJ comes over? How you doing, Miss Alpha? Well, this jail cell is a little small. Why not? And then, after 7 years, Carol comes to visit, and Alpha says, you should just kill me. And Carol walks away, and Carol forgives Alpha. And then Alpha, she goes on to help the group later on. So why could that not have happened? Why is Negan given a pass, but Alpha's not given a pass? Negan is not crazy, says Dimes. Wait, hold on. Dimes says Negan is not crazy. I would refer you to the Negan comic scene of which he killed Glenn and his dialogue in that. Lucille is thirsty. She's a vampire bat. Oh, no. Your eye looks gross hanging out of your eye socket like that. Wait, you don't think that's crazy? Hang on. What do you have to do to murder somebody with a barbed wire wrapped bat, tease them while their eyes hanging out, and you don't think that's crazy? What constitutes crazy on your list of crazy? I need to know. Because if that's not crazy, that's as extreme as I've ever seen. Look, you shoot somebody, but when you beat somebody down with a bat and you're talking to them the whole time you're beating them down, I'm going to refer you to the comic version of what Negan did to Glenn, and the taunting and all the dialogue. That is insane. I mean, what do you guys got? You guys are going to give me varying degrees of crazy? Well, that's crazy, but it's not quite insane. That's insane, but it's not quite psychotic. Negan doesn't kill people that see him cry. No. But Negan has Dwight go kill his best friend and then tie him up to a fence in order to deter other people from coming up. Come on, guys, really? You can't be one-sided with this conversation. You really have to go back and watch The Sanctuary. I mean, I don't know. Let me ask you guys a question. If you had a choice between maybe dying or having somebody put a hot iron against your face, what would you choose? I don't know. Maybe decapitation doesn't seem that bad for me rather than tied up to a chair and having somebody put a burning hot iron up against my face. Oh, we forgot about that. That's not crazy. Putting an iron against somebody's face is not crazy. That's a little on the fence. If I ever saw somebody put an iron to somebody's face, I wouldn't give them any benefit of the doubt. That's for sure. Wait. Kel says bad choices. Okay, all right, hold on. How many people here think that putting a burning hot iron against someone's face is a bad choice? And how many people think it's insane? I will be the first. I will be the first. Here, I'm going to type it in all big letters. Insane. It's not a bad choice. A bad choice is forgetting to put on your seatbelt. Might be a bad choice. Not tying your shoe all the way might be a bad choice. Covering yourself with honey, walking through a bunch of hornets is insane. That's not a bad choice. So if you're getting on the borderline of insanity, putting an iron to somebody's face, wait. How many times did he put an iron to somebody's face? Wait, refresh my memory here. Was it a mistake? He did it one time and thought, that didn't work out quite like the way I did. The smell of flesh on that iron was not very appetizing. Only 2, that's right. He only did it 2 times. He's not crazy. So, if Ezekiel, it's a big if, right? Okay, I'm going to give you guys an alternate scenario. All right, if you guys are willing to play along, give me a quick 999. Kel says, Kills, I love to disagree with you on Negan. Oh, it's fine. It's okay. If you guys are willing to play along with the scenario, give me a quick 999. And don't forget, come on guys, like the video. If you guys like open, honest, entertaining debate, hypothetical situations, the psychology of The Walking Dead, then give this video a thumbs up. Because we're always going to disagree. So, Give me a 999 if you guys are ready to jump into this scenario, because I need an answer to this one. This one's important. All right, good. We got good sports here today. So, Negan comes to Alexandria. Jadis is there. Rick's there. Carl's there. Carl's a kid. And Negan really, really wants to make a point. So, and I don't agree. I don't agree with Rick saying, I'm going to kill you. Not today, not tomorrow. Rick was in no position to say that, especially with Negan holding a bat to Carl's head. But I don't want you to focus on Alexandria. I want you to focus on the kingdom and Hilltop. Let's just say Maggie that morning decided to get up and have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And Shiva wasn't feeling too well. And while they were walking to Alexandria, Shiva decided to take an extra 30 seconds to have a little bit of water. Just 30 seconds. Now, if I remember that episode correctly, Negan was swinging down when Shiva jumped, okay? So, if Maggie would have been another 30 seconds later, or Shiva would have been another 30 seconds later, we agree that Negan would have killed Carl, correct? I mean, he was in the downswing. Negan was set to murder Carl in front of his father. So Anthony says, as a nurse who works with mentally ill people, Alpha was far more psychotic to convince people to live like zombies, and that civilization was a joke is crazy. She was a cult leader. Negan ruled by fear and towed the line. He was a sociopath. But a sociopath would probably still be classified in the insane category. I mean, that is insanity, is it not? But we have to look at the totality of what Alpha was and the totality of what Negan was. Because part of the problem is we forget all of the things that Negan was. So Negan was ready to murder Carl with a bat. So that doesn't, is that not insane? Anthony, he was going to murder a kid with a baseball bat. In what world is that normal? In what world is that not insane? What if we did, Kel? I mean, it doesn't change the fact that he was swinging a baseball bat at a kid to murder him. And I'm just trying to understand where the cutoff is for insanity and not insanity. I'm pretty sure that if he follows through with that and he were to get a defense lawyer, that they're going to plead insanity because that's not normal. It doesn't matter what his intent was, Nixie. I understand what he was trying to do. People that murder people sometimes are trying to feed their family. Sometimes, but they view the world through a different scope. And viewing the world through a different scope, so let me give you the definition of insanity, okay? The state of being seriously mental ill or madness, extreme foolishness or irrationality. So would we agree that lining a whole bunch of people down and making them kneel and putting the father of the son there and swinging a baseball bat to kill that child, who says that's not insanity? I'm not debating who else might be insane. I'm not debating what the other characters in the show do. I'm saying that if you make the argument that Alpha is insane and that Negan is not, it's certainly a hard argument to understand. No, I think you can put whatever label you want, whether you call it revenge, retaliation, any of those things. It doesn't make it sane. What's up, Animal? Good to see you. Are we making up new justifications? Dime says, I say it's psychological brutality. Okay. So Anthony said it was to make a point they were at war. So here's the question I have for all of you guys. I'll entertain that. So, if your goal is to make a point and you're at war, does that mean that any action you take cannot be deemed as insane? How about that? Does that work? As long as that is the backdrop for what you do. Anthony says it was to make a point and they were at war. So as long as we're at war and I'm doing it to make a point, nothing that I do can be classified as insanity. Well, thank you very much. That's exactly what Alpha was doing. So Alpha's not insane either by your definition. They were at war, and she certainly did everything to make a point. What's the difference? Was she not doing it to scare people? Was she not doing it to get people to surrender their land? Was she not doing it to get people to join? Okay, so I have a question for you guys. Did Alpha kill first? Or did our group kill Alpha's people first? Eric says Negan's tactics were more acceptable than alphas? I don't know. If I were made to kneel down and watch the husband of a pregnant wife get beat down, and then I were put in jail and made to eat dog food and listen to the same thing over and over again, I don't get it. I don't think there's a degree of what I would prefer. I'm not a big fan of sitting down and seeing my best friend get beat to death with a baseball bat over and over again. In fact, all things being equal, I guess I would rather watch somebody cut their throat to kill them quicker than to beat them with a baseball bat over and over and over again. So I have a problem with that. I don't know I can defend those actions. So Alpha killed people because she could have guardians, and Negan killed people because he wanted to sleep with everybody's wife, and he wanted to have food, and he wanted everybody else to starve or to work twice as hard. You guys remember Rick's group had no food, and they were out scavenging for food so Simon and Negan could come by and do their rounds? So, Amanda, I get that. Negan lived in his own world that he owned. But I don't know that dictates sanity one way or the other. I mean, there's some people that live in their own world that are insane. There's some people that live in their own world because they just would rather not be around people. So I don't know that's a precursor for his mental state of mind. Yeah, I mean, if you're Eric, I guess if your point is what's more extreme, cutting off people's faces and walking around, yeah, I'll give you that. That's more extreme. But if you're asking me, is there a degree of sanity that I'm comfortable with? I would say no. I'd say I don't think a doctor with an iron put to his face, I don't think you could have stopped at Abraham. You didn't have to go to Glenn. You didn't have to enjoy it with Glenn. You didn't have to go there with Carl. So, here's the sad point that some of you guys are trying to make. And I'm going to be honest, it's sad. Because what you're saying is that Negan And many people are saying this, and this is where I want you guys to understand the reality and the gravity of this comment. So you're saying that it was okay for Negan to break Rick. That's what some of you guys are telling me. That it's okay to break someone. That that's not insane. I would argue that all the actions that Negan took to break Rick publicly validates his insanity. You could kill Rick. So, real question. How many of you, this is a real question, okay? How many of you that have kids could forgive the person that was getting ready to bash your kid's head in with a baseball bat, successful or not? I don't have kids. Okay? But I have kittens. So, if I was made to kneel down and one of my little kittens was beside me, and any person had a bat and was getting ready to swing that bat, just the thought of it, all bets are off. You have crossed a line that you cannot ever, ever, ever come back from. You can't. So, Negan did that multiple times. And the irony that we give him a pass, when I guarantee exactly 0 of you would give him a pass if that happened to you in real life. None of you would. It's playing the devil's advocate to a point when it becomes real. If that's your kid, if you're Rick and that's your son, Nick, see, breaking someone or not breaking someone is not the standard of insanity. It's a threshold. I'm going to give you an example of why that comment just doesn't make any sense. Anybody here see Reservoir Dogs? Is setting someone on fire insane? I mean, I could give you thousands of things of throughout history where people have tried to break other people and they use the situation or the condition as the backdrop to do it. It doesn't dictate sanity or insanity. Whether the action is generally perceived as something a sane person would do is what dictates it, not the condition of which they would do it. And I would say people don't beat people with baseball bats. They don't. They retaliate. They defend. They end things quickly. They shoot. They don't brutally murder people. You just don't. So that's not the standard. And I just find it hard that you can make the argument for one and not the other. Now, if you make the argument that Negan was temporarily insane, that certainly would be a much stronger argument. But to say that he was just going with the flow and doing what you do, come on now, it's not turn it on, turn it off. He has psychological conditions. I get that. But look, Nixie, my standard of insanity is not what drug cartels do either. I mean, the fact that you're in that industry would probably tend to lean you toward a vision of the world that is certainly more warped and jaded than the average person. So that's taking you down another road. And I think some of it goes down to what your definition of insanity is. So Anna says, do any of you know what we would actually do in a zombie or other apocalypse? No, Anna, and that might actually make you go insane, which is the point. Now, if you want to come back and say, well, if everybody is insane, is anyone really insane? I mean, I guess that would be, kind of like the ultimate question, because insanity would be the norm, right? But I would still say that doesn't apply to Negan, because even if you said everybody was insane, his degree of violence is a different degree and a different level of satisfaction that he got out of it that other people did not. Whatever voice in his head was telling him, see, here's the thing, all right? Negan had to get up one morning, put on his leather jacket. Well, gonna have to get Rick and Carl. Gonna have to bash Carl's head in today. It's just got to be done. There's no other way to do it. No. There's a lot of other things to do. So, is Negan a different person now than he was 7 years ago? That should be an easy one, right? We're an hour and a half in this stream. and we haven't even got to how Negan needs to exit. Is he a different person? Okay, we can all agree on that. So 7 years in jail, he's a different person. So why could he not have become a different person sooner? If he was sane and he was capable, why couldn't he let it go? The difference is he's making the effort to do it now. He's winning all of you guys over. going out. He's doing the right thing. He's building people. Did he have to put an iron to somebody's face? Did he have to kill more people? Or could, after he killed Glenn and Abraham, could he have just walked up to Rick and said, you know what? Hey, man, you killed a few of mine. We killed a few of yours. I see you guys are starving. I've made my point. I don't need you guys to keep starving. Let's work this out. Let's find a way, since we're, and you know what? You killed a few more of mine. But I am here to make the effort, and we don't have to kill any more. And, later on, you don't know you're going to do this yet, but by the way, you're going to lock me up for 7 years, and then everybody's going to love me. No, let's go back before all of that happened. And would a sane perspective been to not go to war, to not kill any more of your people, to not put anybody else at risk, to not recklessly behave, to not try to totally starve them to death? Would that not have been a better, more organized, more sane way about doing things? But that's not what he did. He kept starving them, and he kept suppressing them. Now, I got to say that people that always need the upper hand and need to suppress other people, I would make an argument that that's, okay, let me ask you guys this. Is that a universally and normally accepted behavior? To steal things from people, to make them work for you? No, and this is a serious question, because we'll get to the whole root of the evil and the insanity. Is it a accepted behavior to take things from people, to starve them, and to force them into a form of slavery for you? Is that acceptable? Is that something that a normal person would do? Is it something that the majority of people should be doing? And is it a mindset that a majority of people should have? So if your answer to that is no, then that is not sane. And if it's not sane, it is insane by definition. It just is. I'm going to go back. Extreme foolishness or irrationality. And the thing with sanity is you have to measure it against what the average person is going to do in that situation. And if it's so far off base, you don't get a pass and say you are just a normal, rational, operating person. There's something in you that's not ticking the right way if you feel that keeping people down and taking their food and having them work for you is a normal behavior. And that's why I said the threshold does not validate the situation, the war, whatever. It's a war he could have ended. It's a war that he continued to stoke because he wanted an easy path. He didn't want to work for his own food. He wanted other people to work for him, which is why he did it. Negan was running a self-proclaimed protection racket. It was the biggest joke in the history of protection. You know, it's like buying condominium insurance when you have when you pay an HOA. You just don't need it. Or no, renter's insurance. It's like paying renter's insurance when you already pay a condo fee. It's like saying, hey, no, we didn't ask you to take care of us. Well, that's what we do. We'll kill all these walkers out here. No. We'll kill them ourselves, and we'll keep up. No. We're going to kill them for you, and you're going to give. No. We got this. We built the trench here. We can kill the 20 walkers a day and keep our food. He offered them the job. He paid himself. And he didn't allow himself to be fired from his job. That's a great deal, right? Rick didn't want his help. Just remember, the comments you type are a permanent part of this video. So before you type it, that's my disclaimer, because you certainly have a right to heated opinions, but just don't type something that you don't want to be a permanent part of YouTube history. Hello, Cynthia. Good to see you. Hey, you guys said you missed Walking Dead debate. You get it. The gloves came off tonight. See, Anna, I don't agree with that. It's a TV show, so what we guess doesn't really matter. That is going to add irrelevance to anything. It's almost like saying, well, we could talk about the psychology, but if I don't agree with the psychology, then it's just a TV show, so none of it really makes any difference. The reason we talk about it and put ourselves in that situation is so we can analyze the psychology of the show. It's what makes it a different show. I mean, it's stating the obvious to say it's a TV show. I mean, that's not in dispute at all. And by the way, it's not real. just so you guys know, none of this stuff that happens on The Walking Dead really happens. And I'm being a smart ass, but the point is, the reason we do these psychological debates are a couple of reasons. One, it's great banter back and forth. Number two, I think it really, I think it highlights the talent of the producers and the writers to get us in situations to where we assess what's normal, what's not normal, and our own personal biases and our own personal what's acceptable. And there's no doubt that I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I think he does a tremendous job on the show. I certainly would never forgive Negan if, it's just me. Now, some of you guys might. But if a person named Negan killed my best friend with a baseball bat in front of me, regardless of what the situation was, I would not be cool with that. Ever. And I know, look, the show has its challenges. And we do have to accept all of that, but That's always going to be. No doubt about it. Terminus, and if you talk about somebody that was certainly insane, look, the governor was probably the most insane person. So let me ask you guys this, okay? Anthony says, who is more psychotic, Terminus or the Saviors? Anthony, who is more psychotic, the governor or anybody else? I would say the governor, and he had people follow him, and it was a wartime situation. So all of those things that you guys mentioned as maybe they're okay or maybe there's a reason for it, that guy, look, what he did to Michonne, what he did to Herschel, all the heads he had in his office, keeping his daughter chained up, and they almost gave, look, they watered the governor down on TV so much that if they would have shown the real governor, Negan, Alpha, to me, don't compare to him. Now, as I said, I'm not going to completely expose Alpha in the comics, but there were also some things in the Whispers and some things that happened with Lydia that I agree that Alpha was at a different state of insanity than Negan. But I'm not really here to decide who was the most crazy. I don't care if you're crazy beating people with a bat, or crazy setting people on fire, or crazy you drive your car off a cliff and think that you're going to survive it and you're just bringing harm to yourself. It doesn't matter to me. To me, it's not a game of who the most crazy person was. Is the person of a normal state of mind. And I don't think any of them are. I don't think Negan was. I don't think the governor was. And I don't think Alpha was. And I think Negan is at a better state of mind. But as we started this conversation with an hour and 37 minutes ago, the question was redemption. And I don't feel he is redeemed, because I still think that there's some internal strife with him that's not allowing him to be what he thinks he should be. And that is where we'll get to the Negan exit debate. Because I think that is the storyline that is going to push him, and I don't think it's in a bad way. Before I got attacked by about 200 of you Negan fans out there, the real point was going to be that because Negan is not viewed 100% redeemed by the characters, that his arc, and Kel, that's more of the same. So, with your 2 exclamation points, I think after 7 years, Negan finally sees the big picture, exclamation point, exclamation point. So, that's the same, it's the same point that was made an hour ago. But does he see the big picture when he was just trying to possibly have a dual leadership role with Alpha? And that was after 7 years. So we haven't really gotten anywhere with this debate, have we? Because that didn't change. He was in jail for 7 years. He was released, and he still had some conflict. To me, seeing the bigger picture would have been, hey, if I want to really, really be in with Alexandria, let me sit down in this little ditch And when Alpha comes by, hit her in the head with a rock and run as fast as I can and go to Carol and say, hey, Carol, I killed her. Right? Get up in a tree, get a blow dart. They walk really slow. It's not hard to find her. There she is. All right, got her. Hey, I killed her. You can do all of that. And then you go into Alexandria and you're a hero. You don't hear like, hey, it took you long enough. You didn't get half of Hilltop killed because you were dealing with the way you should do it. You got freed. You go take care of the job. You come back. Everybody loves you. But that's not what he did. He blended. He understood. He wanted to be a part of that. And he still may want to be a part of it. So, if you see the bigger picture, kind of to your point, Kel, I thought we were going to end this a little bit ago, but no. If you see the bigger picture, why do anything? All right. So let me ask this, okay? Could Carol be a strong ambassador for Negan? Could Carol put in a good word for Negan? If Negan does what Carol asked him to do, could Carol help him get accepted, become a part of the community? Does she have that power? Is she that respected? I would say, yes, she is. She's respected. She has pull. She has clout. So if you see the big picture, as Kel said, you don't mess around with that. Seeing the big picture is understanding that Carol can help you or she can hinder you. So you don't mess around and take 3 weeks and come back and now you got Carol on your bad side. Took you long enough, just get out. You take care of it. You leave no doubt in her mind. You come back and Carol will walk in there and say, hey, this is the guy that did it. He's back. He's on our side. But when Negan took that long, Carol knew. She knew that he was torn, which is why she asked him that question and put him in that situation in the first place. She knew he was struggling with it, and he could not go in and take care of the responsibility that she asked him to do. And it was obvious in the writing of the show that's exactly the way they wanted us to walk away from it. So to me, that's what seeing the big picture is. It's understanding not only what's good for you, it's how you're going to be perceived and what you need to do to take care of the job. So I would argue Negan does not see the big picture. He sees his picture. And he sees Judah's picture. But he didn't feel what Carol felt when he was killing Alpha. He felt like he was looking at his wife. That's not the big picture. The big picture would have been Carol's perspective, feeling what Carol felt. When all that emotion, it would have been sympathizing with what happened to Henry, what happened to DJ. I mean, he lost Frankie. He lost DJ. He didn't feel any revenge or regret when he was killing her. He didn't feel anything for the people he lost that looked up to him and sacrificed for him. He felt loss because of what he lost in Alpha. You could see it in his face. That's the problem. And that's why I can't validate everything he did. Go back and watch the scene where he killed Alpha. Watch his emotion. It was all about him again, not about all the people she tortured. So I don't disagree with you that Alpha was insane, but I also don't agree with you that Negan is okay. He's good. He's back. He's Daryl. He ain't Daryl. Daryl has the group's best intentions in his mind. Daryl has done some crazy stuff, but Daryl does the things for these people. Negan is still, reminds me of the person that is just has a lot of internal strife. But where was Henry? Where's Frankie? Where's Tara? I could keep this going for 3 more hours, but you know what? We all got a lot of work to do. We got some big things for you guys tomorrow night. We're going to have a lot of fun. If you guys are gaming fans, hang out with us. We're going to do a little bit of Play Dead Live. This weekend, we'll be doing some pack openings, and we will not be strangers to The Walking Dead. If you guys like debate, you like to fight it out, you like to analyze and assess and get your opinions included in the video, certainly there's going to be times that I zoom in and there's certain viewpoints or thoughts that I'm going to, are going to stand out that are easier for me to target and to go after. But certainly all of your comments, all of your thoughts, a lot of you guys are chatting, agreeing with each other. So I can't call on everybody, but, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of good debate that, maybe you'll find at other places. I don't know. I think a lot of other places are 5 or 10 minute videos, and, they give you the news or what's confirmed or what's not confirmed. We're a little bit different. Our platform, our format is doing live streams, and we certainly like to heat it up sometimes. So if you guys are Team Negan, type it in chat right now. If you guys are Team Carol, type it in chat right now. It would depend if he knew Frankie was killed, plus he killed the son of Xavier. Probably, Anthony, probably hard for him not to know who was killed. I'm sure those conversations had to happen. How many people out there Team Negan, and how many people out there Team Carol? Let me see it. If you had to trust, it's a tough question. If you had to trust anybody to watch your kids, I don't know that's a good option. Carol might not be your best choice either. She may not be the ultimate role model for kids. All right. Great chat, everybody. Time flies. We're an hour and 48 minutes. Whoa! See, this is what happened when you have all this Walking Dead built up, and we don't talk about it every night like we used to. We got to get some of these debates out there in pretty long streams. But certainly, if you guys are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell so that way... Usually, we have been doing Walking Dead chats on Thursday night, but doesn't mean that we won't do them on other nights as well. So certainly want to thank all of you guys for being here. And once again, shout out to all our patrons, top left-hand corner. Sponsors, top right-hand corner. We have PDL sponsors that don't even play PDL. That's how much they love us and they support the channel. So thanks to all of you guys for everything that you guys do. My green team is up there, and then, of course, each and every one of you. The super chatters tonight, some big super chats. Jim Stone, Anthony, a lot of you guys that super chatted. If you guys play PDL, remember your super chats turn into packs for our game. So not only do you get to kind of make your point, state your case, have it up there, but you also turn it into virtual items in our Play Dead Live game. So thanks for everything that you guys do. And let me get a whole bunch of, you know what? I got just a little bit of voice left because I've been talking nonstop for an hour and 50 minutes. But I think in the next 60 seconds, I can get as many shout-outs I possibly can. So everybody that types a 999 really, really quickly, let me see if I can give you guys an extended shout-out and thank you for being a part of what we do. So I see Samantha knows the drill. Typing it right there, so appreciate that. I see you, Gemstone. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Much respect to all of you guys. And again, if I disagree with any of you guys, it's what we do. I mean, we debate. We walk away from this stream. The one thing about our chats, nobody ever takes it personally. If we all agreed on everything, it'd be kind of boring, wouldn't it? Caleb, I see you. Thank you, Caleb. Some good thoughts tonight. Appreciate that. Chris Raining, always a pleasure, my man. Good to see you. Miss the Ninja. Julia Muse, Marianne, thank you. Walani, great to see you again. Father Ron, a pleasure as always. Diana C., thank you. Heart of Nixie, appreciate you. Melissa Eaglebarger, thank you so much, Melissa. Good to see you again. Big Tree, thank you. Phyllis, good to see you as well. Donnie T., always a pleasure. Amanda, Unforeseen, thank you, Amanda. Annie Cole, thank you, Annie. It's good to see you again, Annie. Like, all of you guys, I mean, have been here so long. As I said, I don't remember the exact time you guys joined, but I know the people that have been here for a long, long time. So, good to see you. June Smith, what's up, June? Thank you. Busy Bee, pleasure. Rocket Crockett, thank you as always, Gina. Anthony Ancona, the Emperor. You guys need to tune in for some Play Dead Live and see the Emperor. Betty Jackson, thank you. Good to see you again, Betty. Hippo in the house. Thank you, Hippo. I saw Fluff was in here a little bit earlier, too. Big shout out to my moderators. Moderators do a great job. Amy, Kel, Julia, Ben the Tin Man, Tommy the Tank. Great, great mods. And, of course, we are going to have two of our longtime members, Valar and also Jason Mixologist, are going to be our brand new super fans. So once we get the emojis up for them. Sheila B., thank you. Appreciate you. And as always, if I missed you in a shout out, I'll try to do better, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for everything that you guys do, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Peace.